setting this up the way that I would like it to go here. But welcome everybody. I will be cutting out all the other stuff on the regular uh, broadcast, but I want to say, hey, welcome everybody to the live stream slash going to cut it later because I don't feel like going into Adobe Premiere and going through all the drama that it takes right now to just spit out these ideas. And so, um, like I said, I want to say thank you to everyone for showing up, for taking a look at the video, for taking a look at any of my videos. I'm eternally grateful for you guys spending your time and being involved in this process. So I wanted to start this thing off with my universe, your universe, one energy. I have been quietly probably obsessed with this thing, right? As far as God in the universe, or whatever you believe in, like, listen, I'm not here to preach and, you know, go through those types of ramblings. I think that there is one creator, but it's different vines that go to the same tree. And so I want to leave that at that. But ideally, what I want to speak to you guys about today is what is in your universe, right? What are things that you are putting in your universe that you may be aware that you're putting in your universe, you may not be aware that you're putting in your universe. And this is what I mean by universe. If you're in your body and you literally just really sit down and think about it, you're the person within the person, right? So I know that as we go, this is probably going to be like a series that I'm going to be kind of working with. And that I'm going to kind of just been like kind of slowly, kind of putting it out there. But if we really think about what we're doing, how we're living, and how we move along, smooth along, and all that kind of stuff, is that we really are in our own little world, right? Something happens, you're in traffic, you get there, you're trying to get in the car, you're driving, you're pulling out, and this guy cuts you off. You're like, oh my God, this dude's not even paying attention. Because he's in his own world, quite literally. This guy is in his own world. His guy's in his own world. He's not really thinking about how his actions necessarily impact you while he's moving along, doing whatever he's got going on. Maybe he's trying to get to work. Maybe it's this time he get to work. This time he's gonna be late. It's gonna be over, and he's stressed out about that. So, um, everybody, we have to take into account that there are many universes, as they call it in the Marvel world, the multiverse, right? Uh, and so I definitely wanted to, build out a video that you guys can really kind of look at and gather some own personal talking points to what we have going on. So let's start off first with the inner universe, right? So the inner universe, our own personal uh, situation that's going on. Every person carries a universe inside: thoughts, emotions, dreams, and fears, right? You have thoughts on how things should go. You have emotions reacting to how things are going. Um, Dreams, how you want them to go, what you want to see, and fears, right? Our energy is shaped by our perception, right? Our perception, how we see things, i.e., if I'm thinking a certain way, I'm going to react a certain way. Therefore, those actions have results that are produced in a certain way. And like I said, this is not me trying to be Alan Watts. This is not me trying to be any of the energy law of attraction gurus or whatever. I'm totally 100% speaking from a version of my perception, what I've been learning and seeing thus far, uh, actually paying attention to it instead of just walking around in the world and feel like I'm in this randomized slot machine of life. It's really actually taking the time to know that this is an intentional place that we're in. We are in an intentional place. Uh, and how is your inner world creating your reality, your outer reality, your inner world, inner consciousness, inner universe? How is it creating your outer reality? Right? What are the things that you're cooking up on the inside that end up being the dish of your outer reality, your outside, right? And me really sitting down, coming into real contact, either being accountable to my own actions, uh, me doing something and see how it turns out, either being prepared for a moment or not being prepared for a moment, and looking at the results. And I think that we need to really like pull it in. Like, what kind of results are we getting? Right? Like today, I said, I woke up today saying I'm going to do a thing. Spoke about this on the last thing: motivation, your plans, how you carry them out. And I decided today that though I'm going to get in there, me and my son are going to train and we're going to do all that stuff. I'm going to get in a personal workout, right? I'm not going to piggyback on my son's training session just to be like, I worked out today. I did something today. I squeezed it in there. It's like, no, I want to be intentional about the routine, workout, the layout, and actually get it done. Step forward and get it done. Do a real workout, not a workout like, oh, no, like really put it in, get it going. Um, and this is really being accountable about what's going on in your own inner universe, you know. So shout out to the folks. Hit me. No, that was a text message. People be like, yeah, my chat. Yeah, man, what's going on in my chat? Bruh, if you look at the chat, ain't nobody in the chat. What? No, but so being accountable to my own inner universe, and what is that inner universe producing in my outer world, right? So let's check. Let's check that. Like, right. So I'm gonna do better with this video. I'm gonna actually, put the little thing, put the little things in the top corner, right? All that, right? So we can get some stuff going on. So the connection between universes, right? Once we have somewhat of a notion of how either we are working our inner universe and how the inner produces a physical outer result, then how do we connect with others? How do we influence others? Like when two universes meet, the influence on each other, which is, like I said, if we take away all the universes and the influencing and all that kind of stuff, it's like two people meet, how do they impact each other? Right? I think the word universe is probably one of the probably most overused words here coming here last couple of years because of the law of attraction, that phenomenon, and how people are starting to realize that, like I'm thinking stuff and oh snap, it happens. It's real. Like I thought about this car and it was on my vision board and now I have it, I'm driving it, right? Or even just, man, I wanted this job and I worked for this job and now I got the job. It's fantastic, whatever, whatnot. So I think when two meet, how do they impact each other? Right? Can we think about that? Right? So birds that flock together, right? Where five are gathered, you are the sixth, whatever, of the cumulative group mantra. Um, right. So if you are, how are you impacting others? Not just how they impact you, but how are you impacting others? And does that impact then create a domino effect of whoever else ends up in your universe? And I believe that it does, right? If you're a person that doesn't like to eat healthy, just eat whatever, do whatever, you're going to run into eat whatever, do whatever people, right? You got people that say, hey, you know what? I want to eat a little bit better, but I don't want to go crazy with it. And, don't do whatever, just kind of middle of the road, mediocrity. In that vein, you're going to meet those kind of people. Now, if you meet the Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality, oh, going crazy, all the focus. That's who you're going to meet, right? So your inner world that you've been cooking up is then going to produce your outer world affiliations, attractions, influences, all that kind of stuff. So it puts you in a place where ultimately what you have going on the inside ultimately is what you're going to have going on the outside. So this goes back to the first point. The inner universe is going to earmark, is going to originate everything that is taking place with you. When two universes meet, yes. Two people meet, yes. Two people meet, or two individuals, two mentalities meet. It's because of what was being cooked up on the inside before you even left to go anywhere to meet anybody. I mean, like, just let it set in for a little bit and let's be accountable and say everything pretty much that you got going on the inside, the reflection on the outside pretty much is everything that you were dealing with on the inside. Relationships, friendship, brief encounters. It leaves energetic impressions, right? But it started with you and your inner universe. So that's the first question that you always have to ask. I met this kind of person. I'm seeing this thing all the time. What is it that I'm doing that's bringing this into my life? What is it that I'm thinking? What is it that I'm saying? What is it that I'm allowing to be a priority mental note in my life that I'm constantly adhering to, giving it attention, right? So when we talk about one energy, despite our differences, connected by the same universal energy, we get into it like love, intention, and bridging the gap. Listen, man. True. Question though, one energy. But I feel like one energy, one guiding principle. I won't call it a guiding principle. I think that's inaccurate. I think one energy is, I feel, the light that we're lit with, and that includes everybody, right? We are lit with a power that animates us, that ends up animating our bodies or animates the living things around us, whether people want to call it God, people want to call it all different names, but I feel like it's one thing. One, I call it, this is the unexplainable, right? The one, whatever the thing is that we can't describe. When it comes to one energy, that's what I believe, that we are one power, right? We're powered by this same thing. Um, what you do with that energy is the next level. What you do with it, not how you pray, how you this, how you that, how you believe, like what you do with it. Like how do you use it, right? You've been given a gift of life. However, some people say they weren't given anything. They just appeared and then there's nothingness. whole different discussion. I'm not even gonna get into it. I think the main thing is that people feel with those type of discussions, and I just kind of leave it there, is that they feel like there's been so much human tampering that the so-called God or creator is not there to explain self. And so I'm gonna just leave it there because I feel like it's a big debate, man. People have the right to believe whatever they want to believe, and whatever they believe ends up being a reality, and their perception is cool. Now, power of awareness, the power of knowing that it's there, right? I used to use this example all the time, and I think that people just disagree with, some of the people's actions. Like, let's use Will Smith. And these are individuals of success, right? Like, when he was on his run, he was just movies. Listen, man, the music per se, people can say it's not that great. They can say whatever they want, man. And the thing going on with Jada, I don't agree, man. Listen, man, I got a lot of different opinions, but at the end of the day, who am I to really get into all the different things that are going on in a relationship? Number one, we really don't know what's going on in a relationship. But let's just talk about the work, right? Let's talk about the work. So Will Smith, so let's talk about the work. Man, how much films made? All right. So let's just say this, man. The guy has starred in, collectively grossed over 6.5 billion globally as a lead actor across 31 films. His personal earnings are estimated in $350 million range. I would not consider that to be light, right? I would consider that to be pretty significant, substantial. Let's see here. So, ChatGPT is a little bit better at this than probably Google. And my folks in the chat, when y'all show up, I'm saying, y'all like Google or chat better? I kind of like chat better. So that's 31 films, $6.5 billion, right? How many records has the man sold? Or streams or whatever, right? The point. Okay. So this is the thing that I feel like okay. So this is the thing. Listen, man, guy hasn't been releasing music consistently, like albums, like regular guys, right? Like, and I just said let's compare him to the all-time greats, right? Right. So Eminem 61.5 million. This is not about skill or talent or music type, whatever. Like, as far as it's hip hop, but Eminem, 61.5 million. Tupac Shakur, 36.5 million. Jay-Z, 27.5 million. Drake, 25.5 million. This is just US albums sales. This isn't worldwide yet. And Kanye West tied 25.5, tied with Drake, and Will Smith at 12 million. We got to think about this. He is not. Now, I mean, let's look at it. How many albums? And I want to get to a point, right? I want to bring this to a crescendo. Right? So how many records has he released in comparison to these guys? Right? So Will Smith has released 5 studio albums. Michael Jackson 10, Eminem 12. Right? He's still at 12 million. And he hasn't like legit been like, okay, I'm gonna release the album every year. And then he's off doing movies at 6.5 billion. Dude, I mean, like you can say you like his music, don't like his music, he's corny. You know what I'm saying? The famous Eminem line, like, well, you don't gotta cuss in your records. Well, I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever knocks, we wanna do whatever jokes. The man is ultra successful, whether his relationship with his wife is working out or his kids. Hell, his kids are successful. They have a measure of success. I mean, they have a lot going on in their family, I'm sure. But the whole point that I'm making here is success is totally different. When it comes down to it, your success is up to you and how you see it, how far you want to go. This is about the power. This part of it is about the power of awareness, being mindful of energy you give and receive. Protect your universe, from negativity. But negativity often plays kind of an unseen hero role. But I'm gonna bring this back around to the power of awareness, right? The power of awareness in the senses of being mindful of the energy you give, right? Being mindful of your energy, being mindful of your mind, your universe, your goals, where you want to take this thing. The whole tangent, and like I said, we can compare the whole tangent about Will Smith, and his energy is, I'm going to give all. I'm going to be the best at what I do. Sure, so many people can say that same thing. But once again, we talk about results. What results are you achieving that mirror your own dossier of this is what I want to do, this is where I want to be? And I leave all of that to say, regardless what's going on in his personal life, whatever. I'm talking about the man set out to do something, stepped up, and he did it. He stepped up to do what he said he was going to do. I'm going to bring up another crazy name, Kanye West, to you people that don't like him. Crazy things he says, crazy stuff that he got going on. But let's sift through all of the unlikable things. And let's get down to the brass tacks, right? While Kanye West was going through whatever he was going through, and by the way, what is Kanye West on this? He's tied with Drake in U.S. album sales, right? Oh, I guess if we go globally, you know what I'm saying? But let's leave it at the U.S. just for perspective, right? He said he was going to do a certain thing. He said that this is who he's going to be, where he's going to be, and he did it. He said he's going to work with Janet Jackson. He worked with Janet Jackson. He said he was going to do this. He said he was going to do that. Boom. He did all these different things. All right. Nobody can contest that. This gets back. This goes back to the power of awareness And I want to add and really like, you know what I almost want to turn this to power awareness, power of awareness of who you are. Power of awareness of who you are and what you can do. Too many times we are dependent on someone else doing something for us. But not let's not escape from the fact that yes, people will be a part of the things that are happening, right? How things happen. People will be a part of that, right? You can't sell a record without somebody buying an album. Or I mean, so you can't sell a record without somebody buying a record. You can't uh, sell a stream, I guess you want to call it sell a stream, or somebody listen to a stream without someone listening to a stream. You can't call it sold if you listen to it yourself. I mean, sure, you want to support yourself, of course, but let's get down to brass tacks about the self-made millionaire thing. You're only a millionaire because someone eventually attributed to that concept of you being a millionaire, right? Now, true to the fact, you have to be a millionaire before you are before the world tells you that you're a millionaire. So you have to be rich inside. We go back to the top point, and this is not to contradict what I said, but it go back to the top point of whatever you're doing internally is the reflection that you're going to get on the outside. If you think you're rich on the inside, you're going to ultimately do the things that the rich do, i.e., changing your habits, changing the way you think about yourself, changing your disciplines, willing to do, willing not to do, willing to spend, willing not to spend. You're going to refine your approach to the outer world that's going to produce a result that is going to then move you into that status, right? Who you are is the internal. Whatever you cook up on the internal is then going to be brought to the external. All the belief and I believe I can do this, I believe I can do that. It's all good. It's all good. But you have to cross the line of just saying you believe and moving to the belief, right? Going back to the top of this point. And we can pick out different people. Let's pick out Jay-Z. Jay-Z sold 27.5 million records. And or I think this is just like traditional records, right? Fine. The physical album sale to the best selling album equivalent to put him at top 23 among rappers overall, right? I'm sorry, that's the Will Smith point. Sorry. Now when we go to Jay-Z, dude's a billionaire now. All right. Dude's a billionaire. He didn't start off a billionaire. Started off guy with some chips, but he didn't start off with a billion. He didn't start off as a billionaire. So he's crusaded through all of the different whatever it is he got going on. Wherever it is, whether you like Beyonce, whether you like Jay-Z or not, we have to actually look at what the person has done and or accomplished. I'm going to segue to Beyonce too. But let's look at where Jay-Z came from. You look at where he came from. He came from project drug dealing situations, bad neighborhood. I'm glazing the top. I'm just skimming the top. Not really glazing, but I'm skimming the top. I'm just like, let's just get the superficial. We ain't even gonna get deep. And I keep bringing up these hyper successful people because they came from being hyper unsuccessful. And this is what I mean. before Jay-Z probably got with Jazzo and them. Probably was just on the block, just doing it. I mean, you can go check the story, whatever. But he was just like everybody else, trying to do something, trying to do this, trying to do that. He found his thing and said, "Bro, I'm making it happen. I'm taking this all the way to the next level, all the way to the next level." And he did. I'm saying, Mike, hold on, Lizzo and Ashy, but look, but he did. Hung on to it, then got on, and then got on. Now, whatever he got going on with Dame Dash, I don't know nothing about it, man. I don't know nothing about the personal shit with Dame. I've never met Dame. I don't know nothing about him personally. I just know the result, right? Dame Dash had a lot to do with Jay-Z getting there. We can't forget that. We can't take him out of the success reason for success. So let's just take that there. And that's what I talk about. The whole self-made, blah, 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 still takes it still takes the qualified entity to outside entity that you've commanded to move in on your behalf for the things or for where you want to go. It's like you're commanding and calling out to a person, place, or a thing to move for you so you can step and go where you want to go. All right. Now he's a billionaire. He's transitioned. He's no longer just a rapper, right? He's no longer just a rapper. Now he's something else. We can go through all these different names, and you can even say, hell, if you take a look at Eminem, that's even more encouraging. It's even more encouraging. But then I'm like, oh my God, he was super talented, and oh my God, he was so great at rapping. He was so fantastic. Listen, man. To be hyper successful, a hyper successful winner, you have to be a hyper successful loser. It's almost like the more you lose, the more you get knocked down and get up, is the bigger reward when you win. Let's see. 72, 172, dropped out at 17, channeled his energy into freestyle rap battles across Detroit's underground scene. Early music included Infinite, 96. Okay, so let's look at this, right? So, perceivably, what, maybe. Okay, let's check 17. Let's check 17. So, when he was 17, he was, he said he dropped out of high school. I guess had the baby and all that, we know. Dealt with the girl, issues with the mom, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure he was doing records. Being an artist, you're doing records, you're putting out records, you're doing something, you're doing shows, you're doing records. So he's putting out mad records. He's in the studio just going crazy, right? He released. Did he release? All right. How many records did he release before 97? He released one record. Okay. So Infinite in 1995, Infinite in 96, only about 1,000 copies were pressed, making it very rare. Sonically different, blah, 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 blah. More influenced by AZ, Nas, New York hip hop. Then 95. Demo tape with Proof and others, which is the other group. Early rap battle demos, did a lot of records appearances. And think about it, how many people did you get beat by before you even got there? Then the breakthrough record in 1997. I'm going to put up a graphic of a thing I call digging for diamonds, where you got a guy on the ground. He's got the pitch fork, shovel, whatever the thing is. He's digging, 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 and you see him walking away right before he gets to that thin wall. If you hit that wall one more time, boom, diamonds come out. That could have been Eminem or Marshall, right? He'd have been digging, 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 digging. Sorry, my folks. Sorry, my folks. Sorry, my folks. But he'd have been digging, digging, digging. Right when he got to it, he'd quit. Like I said, I'm not here to be this universe savant to give you all of the squeaky, clean views, perspectives, all of the nice, all the nice, all the nice terms of how the universe and the law of attraction works. Look, there has to be a level of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, but there has to be a level of execution, right? You have to, move it from your mind into action and practice it in the everyday realm that we live in. And if you look at each one of these people's lives, it happened. It may not be so granular that you understand, oh, the day that he dropped the single, it got in the Jimmy Iovine hands, and then from Jimmy Iovine, it got to Dr. Dre, and because really it was like a segue. There was like something, he dropped it, whatever, like a demo ish, but it was a release, and gave it to some other cat, and some other cat was like, "Yo, gave it to Jimmy Iovine," and I don't know if it's true or not. Then it was on somebody's floor and he picked it up, and Dre was like, "Oh shit, this is fucking incredible!" Like, was it like that? I don't know. The whole point, he went from 0 to 100. You know what I'm saying? But he might have went from 0 to 3, then 3 back to 2, and then 2 back to 10, and then 10 to 15, and then 15 to 100. We don't really know the entirety of the story. It'd be great to talk to Marshall and ask, right? But we don't know. So at the end of it all, it comes down to awareness of what you can do, right? And I guess, man, I'm using hip hop and people in hip hop, and maybe some movie guys have been some ultra successful people, and that's easy, right? You know what I'm saying? But what they did is not easy. What you do is not easy. Now let's get down to you. And then people want to separate them from the special elite to you or myself, or people that are not considered, pioneers or great or whatever in the eyes of others. No, you have to look at yourself and know that what you do is not easy. You're living every day, you're putting it in, you're addressing the challenge and the journey to continue to grow and push forward and progress. I know I said progress, but progression is so important. Movement does not mean progression. If you are actually saying, taking a checklist like today, you know what? I'm going to work out. I want to go through my routine that I created. I'm going to get my reps in, and I'm going to complete my workout. Boom. That is progression. That is making my body that much better than anything else that I've endeavored to do. I endeavored to record this video. I've had this green screen behind my desk for at least a year, right? I've used it for other instances, and I just got to a point where I say, you know what? I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna put out my video series of me speaking about my interactions with life and what's happening, right? My viewpoint, my perspective. Like I said, um, I like to talk about the things that I like to talk about the seen to explain sometimes the unseen. And people are like, oh, how do you do that? It's because somebody came up with a great idea and then they decided, you know what, I'm going to do it. Boom. They're genius. They're the greatest of all time. Oh my God. They're just did you hear what Jay-Z said? Did you hear what Eminem said? Oh did you see that movie that Will Smith did? Or if you like his records, man, I like that. He got a bop to it. I don't care what it is. There's something about these people that's different in this that they chose to take their mental perspective and turn it into something physical. They chose to go get it. So what you can do is do the similar thing, unlocking your own potential. Whatever it is you do, whether you weed baskets, you know what I'm saying? Like, like you make clothes, like, you know, whatever you do. Whatever, man. Like, whatever, man. It's like this hat is one of my, one of my thoughts from my mind to the physical world, right? God, right? Big God, right? Instead of just putting God on the hat. I mean, like, it's cool. I mean, like, if you do that, cool. That wasn't what I chose to do. I chose to say, I want to make something that encompasses a viewpoint that, I think is cool, right? Which was the God hat. Ultimately going to turn it into a t-shirt. Then the City Life, fantastic. The Fantastic Life. City Life, the Fantastic Life, which, you know, emboldens you to say, I want to live my fantastic life. Your fantastic life is different from my fantastic life. They got people, let's use an example, at, people that do jump out of airplanes. I'm not personally one of them guys that want to jump out of airplanes. I just don't want to jump out of an airplane. Perfectly good airplane at that. But some people enjoy that and they do that, and that gives them the zest, the happiness, the energy, the electricity, or whatever it is of life that they just are like, oh my God, if I didn't have this, I don't know what I would do. We all have our own different thing. So you live your amazing life and, see what you come up with. Awareness as connection, right? Call to action. I think an awareness to connection is connecting to yourself. I know it sounds weird. How do you connect to yourself? Well, the thing is, I think we are disconnected and unaware of ourselves, so that we're just a shadow of somebody else's projection, which is kind of like, what do you mean by that? Like, we literally are a shadow of something else that we think we're supposed to be. No, I'll tell a personal story, man. John Fajuk, right? A brother-in-law, great guy. He's a gospel artist. I don't know if you would want me to call him that, right? I mean, he's in the Christianity music realm, right? So I don't know if we call him a Christian artist or spiritual artist. I'm really not sure. But he said that he wanted to be a praise leader. He said that he wanted to sing and praise God and, put out and do music. Do it with music. That's what this dude is doing today, right? I'm going to, like I said, I'm gonna dice the little clips and all that. I'm doing this thing, and then the music and all that kind of stuff. But this dude is doing that today. I think he did like a stadium in Brazil or something like that. It was huge. It started from an idea, from maybe from a desire to an idea to, or vice versa, whatever. But he decided to go after it and do it. Parents wanted him to be a doctor. Cool. Wanted him to do this. He ended up doing, accounting, kind of meeting in the middle, something that he was more interested in. Then he flipped it on his side, started working for this huge church. I think it's called Bethel or something like that. I'm not sure. Um, he's my brother-in-law, I should know. But it's a big church. He got these big artists involved, all this stuff. He did it. He's making it happen. He's involved in his own journey, his own movement. Now, I'm sitting with him at lunch, and they're going, "Hey, ain't you that dude that be doing da-da-da and singing da-da? You that dude?" Like, yeah, I'm that dude. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not like, yeah, I'm that dude. Yeah, I came up. You know what I'm saying? No, it's yeah, I'm that guy. Wow, I'm that guy that actually had an idea, of belief, and something he believes in his heart of hearts, and I believe too that God put something in his heart, something, and he decided to run with it, and he did it. Yeah, I am that guy. Truly be the thing that you are, not what somebody else is. And then another guy, homeboys, his name is Minuin Hannibal Hart, no relation to Kevin Hart, but he was he's a hell of a producer, musician, and artist, writer. Also, he's a comedian and an actor, right? Dude's telling jokes all the time. He's hilarious. We spent quite a bit of time together. I mean, we put out a mixtape, did a lot of history between us. Several mixtapes of music and all kind of stuff. Like it's a big story. So, long story short, he decides that he wants to leave Atlanta. He wants to go to New York and go after his dreams there. Does it, long road, hard times, makes it happen. Does MTV stuff, ends up doing a TV show, doing MTV stuff and shows here, shows there, sporadic. Definitely on the comedian circuit, getting it going, getting it cracking, everything. So I'm gonna put my boy up there too, so y'all can see. I get a call one day. Boom, hey, what up? Like, yo, what's up, man? He's like, yo, hey, you ever heard of this movie? And I'm like, what movie is it? And it's my guy's movie. Man, there's this dude on there. He look exactly like, we call him Manny. His name is his name, but we call him Manny. He looked just like Manny. He looked just like your dude. I'm like, that's him. Once again, that is him. That's him. That's who he is. That's him. Not the guy that got his barber license and he's cutting and doing all the other and doing every other job just to maintain so he could try to keep this dream that you've had in his heart and mind and to make it happen. I'm like I said, I'm gonna put the movie up there too. You know what I'm saying? I want to do better with this thing. Like the things that I'm talking about, whether it be a list that's breaking out, I really want y'all to really see it. Like what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I want to give this channel, something more like what's happening in the experience of life, not just what someone would say in a book. Not that the book doesn't apply, but it's just that the things that I'm seeing in life, the real walking through life is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a guy with an idea that moves into a physical, from the mental invisible to the physical. He's I don't want to say the word, but I wanted to say it. He's manifesting, he's creating, he's orchestrating the elements to get to where he wants to go to, or to have what he's desiring to have. That's what I want this. That's why I say, when I talk about this channel, when I talk about what's on this channel, of course, this is the just talk version. I'm moving into 52 minutes. Wrap it up. Like, dude, I got somebody deep. I want it to be the experience of life, but recognizing the telltale signs and watching the signs and looking like, I was thinking about this before it actually happened. Now I'm seeing it now. How do I actually start to be in a little bit more control on what is happening? Of course, because it starts with my thought, then it flows out to the real world. Ultimately, I'm gonna leave it at awareness, right? Probably come through this video and be like, dude was talking about all, right? But awareness of your inner universe is creating the physical thing that you're seeing. I can tell stories among my own, right? Started in the situation financially, not where I wanted to be at. Was like, hey man, I need to figure something out. Decided to do IT because somebody else was successful at the IT. So I said, I'm gonna do what she did. I'm gonna check into that. Mother-in-law, once again, great influences and impact from my mother-in-law, and her and my wife's family in general. But did something, created, got into database administration work. Dude, she barely even used Word or anything on a computer, right? Went on, got educated on it, did whatever she had to do, learned it, got it going, got a job, over $100,000. It's 13 years ago, man, right? I was sitting there like, I need to come up with something. It's looking ugly out here for you, boy. Run around here doing music, trying to get this going, trying to get that going, putting out music. Not that music wasn't growing to a success, but that's another story for another day. I pursued it with veracity, without the wisdom, which still grew my talent and ability. It still grew me to, the Spotify that you have now, and the case study that I did over the year. I'll get back to the story, but the case study I did over the year, that went from basically 0 streams to 75,000 streams. No bots, no weird plans. But I decided to say, I'm going to do this music and I'm going to put it out the way that I put it out, but with strategy. So going back to the change, also using something that yielded a higher income to bring my music to fruition the way that I needed it to. So I was doing music with just the veracity and the raw talent, but not a whole lot of strategy and not a whole lot of funds that I can invest in and taking care of my life, and then taking care of investing into my my talent, my music, where I wanted to get going. So I did it backwards, right? I started with the love and everything, and I hoped that I would be the Eminems of the world, the Jay-Z's of the world, the Kanye's of the world. You know what I mean? Like hoping somebody would see my talent and go, "Oh my God, that guy, he's amazing. Let me just." So said, "Hey, I'm gonna do this thing," right? Found out what it was, got the knowledge that I needed to get, information I needed to get. Finally, eventually got the job. Went from first job, developer, 28,000 to 76,000. What changed? I had an idea. I pursued the idea, and I closed the idea. What changed? Awareness or knowledge about the idea. How they did it. Okay, how can I apply how they did it to my life? Then once I applied it to my life, let's pursue it. Let's go after it. Let's get it done. And I'm gonna pursue it and pursue it and pursue it until it happens. Boom, it happened in a big way. Then it opens up the door for everything else. It moves me into the ability to be able to pursue my music, well, to create my music the way that I saw fit. And there's so many stories that goes along with that. Having a little bit of nest egg to yield to creating and growing my music to now it being more than what it was, because now I don't have to wait on someone else to give me, oh, he's great. Oh my God, he's amazing. But you know what? I'm going to say, I'm amazing. I'm great. So now I'm going to pursue it in my fullness. This plays out the same way for you. Get enough awareness of an idea. Get your inner universe moving. Once you get your inner world moving, and then you perch that seed and put it in the ground and water it and do your part, then everything else starts to build out around it. You start to learn how to command your reality, your idea. Then you just wake up and I'm here. And I mean quite literally. You go through all this stuff, you're so dug into a whole process that you're not even thinking about what's going on around you. You're just growing it and growing and growing it. Your head's down, grinding, then boop, oh my God, he's amazing and she's amazing. This is great. You just did this overnight. Oh my God. Just because they didn't see you going under the ground. See, it's just, I'm gonna leave it at this. The seed into the ground. When you put a seed into the ground, you're not paying attention to all the work, everything that it takes for the seed in the ground to grow to the tree or to the sprout, right? So look at your life in that way. Dream, travel, destinations. What are you dreaming to? Pay attention to your travel and be grateful for it all, including the destination, is what it ultimately boils down to. Your dream, your inner awareness, what you want, what you're thinking, what you want to get going. To actually, I'm going to pluck this seed, I'm going to drop it into the ground, the travel, the journey of everything that you go through, seeing growth and everything, moving into that destination and receiving that destination. So, look, man, dream, travel, destinations, live the amazing life that is yours. Continue to go after it, man, and don't quit. Till next time, y'all. I know that I ain't even know this is gonna be an hour. But look, man, I appreciate y'all. Enjoy life. Enjoy everything you got going on, man. I appreciate anyone who watches this. Grateful for the dream. I'm grateful for the dream, the travel, and the destination, man. Appreciate y'all. Much love, man.